Civil rights didn't write your resume, but civil rights made somebody read your resume. Don't act like whatever you achieved because you were that smart. You got there because some unlettered grandmas who never saw an inside of a college campus put their bodies on the line in Alabama and Mississippi and sponsored you up
here. Welcome to Beyond the Walls. We're broadcasting live tonight from the KTYM studio right here in Inglewood, California. I am your host, the Reverend KW Toulis, the senior pastor of the historical Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church and the Western Regional Director of the National Action Network, where the Reverend Al Sharpton is our founder and national president. We welcome each and every one of our listening audience tonight to our weekly and exciting broadcast, a live radio show that's simply designed to drive you, our listening audience, beyond the walls. Be it the walls of the church, be it the walls of your home, our desire is simply to guide your spirit of engagement and get you active, get you involved with the National Action Network, our community most prominent civil rights group, a group that has been at the forefront of every major issue, civil rights issue, police brutality issue, demonstration around this country in Los Angeles and beyond. We operate daily in the spirit of Dr. King. His spirit is alive in our organization, especially here in Los Angeles. It gets no better than the National Action Network. The work we do it every week, every day at our Western Regional office located at 2828 West Jefferson Boulevard, right on the corner of 9th Ave and Jefferson in the Concord Church facility. Each day we provide our community with that unique opportunity to become freedom fighters and to create that platform for engagement. Each week, we want you, our listening audience, to be aware of ways that you can get and become acclimated beyond the walls and move towards action. National Action Network. We want to also use this platform to keep our supporters and our listening audience informed of many of the challenges and the events that's happening here in our community. We welcome you. We welcome each of you to Beyond the Walls tonight. And I'm so glad, family, that I'm not on this crusade by myself. I have many of my NAN family with me tonight. These are all special activists and leaders in our community that's going to help drive this conversation tonight, help drive the National Action Network. Welcome, family. Welcome to the show.
All right.
So happy to have you all tonight. We're a little bit short-armed, but we're few and mighty, but we're mighty in numbers, right?
Right. I'm Reverend Nathaniel Martin, Sergeant at Arms at National Action Network, LA chapter, pastor of New Life Institutional Baptist Church. I'd like to say good afternoon, good evening to the family, to my 102-year-old member, oldest member of my church, Mrs. Ollie Lee McGarry.
So happy that she's joining us. Welcome.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Simone for my students and the youngster on the crew for everyone that's older than me.
All right.
So happy to have you, Simone. We also have in studio with us one of our other wonderful members, Miss Juanita. Miss Juanita, say hello to everybody.
Hi, it's Nita, and I'm a proud member of NAN as well as a member of the Police Accountability Committee. Glad to be here tonight.
So happy to have, and we have another special guest with us. We're not going to let him introduce himself till later on tonight, but we're so happy to have a very special person in studio today. And we're gonna bring him up real soon. But listen, family, we've had a lot going on this past week.
Sure.
I mean, our last show, we made a plea to many of our listeners to get out and talk and to get on the phone and call their Congress member and their state senator and just let them know we wanted Loretta Lynch confirmed.
Right.
And it happened. Let's give some love for that.
It's about time.
That's right.
And just in time, actually,
Yeah.
with everything that's going on still with police brutality, the recent, protests going on in Baltimore. So this is the appropriate time for Loretta Lynch to be
She's got to hit the
confirmed.
ground running.
Exactly, and it's about time.
And we're so grateful that she does plan on hitting the ground running, and she's, meeting with law enforcement officers and meeting with the community, trying to bridge that gap of communication between the community and the police. And we think that there's no finer person than our current Attorney General, Miss Loretta Lynch. We're so thankful for that. You have anything to say about that, Juanita?
No, actually, I'm just very proud that she is the first
What?
First.
African American female Attorney General for the United States of America.
That's
So
right.
It's a big
very
accomplishment.
excited for her and very proud of
In
her.
our lifetime, family.
We're living in some historic times, and we're just so thankful again that many of our listeners and those around this country really hit the ground hit the ground hard on last week, pressing for her to be confirmed, and we're so thankful she's confirmed. And also, other big topics this past week, Baltimore family, Freddie Gray. It seems like, this is a revolving scenario in our communities. Black brothers' lives seems not to matter when it comes to some police around this country. Let's talk about Freddie
Sure,
Gray,
we
y'all.
gotta talk about
What's happening with that? What's your thoughts?
It's scary. It's scary, the amount of disrespect and lack of accountability with police officers. And where do we go? How do we move forward? And it seems like a stuck situation that keeps repeating over and over again.
Yeah, and and if we listen to the young people, that's part of their outrage.
Oh, definitely.
Where do we go? How do we communicate? How do we expect to respect the police? And it seems as if they don't value our lives. This is something that's happening.
Right. It seems like we must renew our focus on a national police reform agenda. And now is the time to get involved and share your voice.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things we have going on every second and fourth Tuesday at our headquarters, our police accountability work. And we want to just remember on last week we did have a nice little op-ed piece in the Los Angeles Sentinel, and that highlighted many of the police accountability laws that's currently in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. And so we believe at National Action Network it's time to go from demonstration to legislation.
Right.
We have to get folks beyond the walls. The only way we're going to make a difference is if our people really step up to the plate and really, really make these phone calls and demand accountability, not only from the police, but those that's in office, those that's legislating in office, our elected officials, and they stepped up. Now it's time for us to step up, but we have to support them because they're not going to do it by themselves.
So, Reverend Tullis, can
Yeah.
you let everyone know how to get a copy of this op-ed piece that's in the LA Sentinel?
Matter of fact, go pick up the Los Angeles Sentinel. You got to go there before Thursday because I believe it's going to have a new copy, a new one. But go pick up LA Sentinel anywhere around the community. They're selling them. And, also if you don't, pick up the LA Sentinel, I know some people don't read that, go to our Facebook page, National Action Network Los Angeles, and there's a petition that's circulating, that's picking up steam, that's picking up momentum all across this country. And we want them to really, really get on board and sign the petition. So it's very, very important that we press for these laws and this legislation that's taking place currently in Sacramento.
And I know that, again, a continuous move, a continuous push for police accountability. And NAN is right in the forefront, right at the forefront. So that's why every second and fourth Monday of each month, we focus strictly on police accountability. This is led by our leader, Reverend K.W. Twillis, Dr. Lewis Logan, and our Assistant Attorney, Rashida Kilpatrick.
I heard the Kansas come out. And you
It was the Southern drawl.
It's two lists.
Tullis, excuse me, Reverend Tullis.
So it's important, again, Juanita shared earlier, she's a part of this wonderful committee, and I'm sure she can attest to some of the great things that's taking place in this committee.
Oh, absolutely. And it seems like the law enforcement protective policies have diminished the value of black life. And so this is why we are so adamant and just so aggressive with our push for this legislation. We're not saying that all police are bad. And we certainly, when the law only favors one side, we have a right to voice our concerns. We have a right to raise, our voices in protest. And it always seems to protect the police side.
Yeah.
It seems that they're the ones that are protected and not those who they have sworn under oath to protect and serve.
So when we talk about accountability, I mean, that's what we want accountability on all parts. We know that there's a lot of good police out there. Yes, we do. We celebrate them.
Absolutely.
But there's also those out there that's simply not doing their job well, that's simply not working and operating well. And at the end of the day, it's up to us as the community to really hold them accountable, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So we want folks to know that, again, if you can't get a copy if you can't go pick up a Sentinel and make those phone calls, if you can't sign the petition that's circulating now on Facebook, that on tomorrow night, our community will be out in the community. We will be out beyond the walls. We will be in Leimert Park on tomorrow night, and we will have our wonderful members of NAN circulating this petition. You can sign on the dotted line right then and there, right?
Yes, and this, again, movement, NAN, is not only for those who believe that those who are adults. It's also young children, young people get involved. We have a youth move.
That's right.
And so we're looking for civil rights organizations for all people, man, woman, and child. So you have a place, you have a home with NAN.
And we're so thankful that one of our other brothers just joined us, one of our co-hosts, the Reverend Dr. Jonathan Mosley. Welcome.
Good evening and welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in once again to Beyond Walls. And we just want to make sure that everybody's abreast of what's going on in our community, especially what is going on amongst our people. And we are definitely engaged in the community. Yesterday we went to the 77th Division Precinct and had dialogue with the LAPD. Again, we're not against the police, but we're against bad police officers, those that abuse the law and take it too far. I think that that's one thing that we have to always remember. The law is for the lawless, but we have to have the correct people that are in place, that are community orientated and want to engage and not be estranged.
That's right.
So remember, if you want to be part of National Action Network, we meet every Monday at 2828 West Jefferson Boulevard at 6 p.m. For more information, call our office at area code 323-521-3477. If you're not in the Los Angeles region, go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and find a chapter near you.
So as you know, our Community 411 is taking place, and we're so thankful that one of our co-hosts, Ms. Joellen Shoemate, she's listening right now live in Dallas, Texas, and we welcome you to all that you're doing, Ms. Shoemate. But we do have Community 411. What's the 411 that's going to be brought to us by Sister Juanita?
All right, now we're coming to you tonight, and we're sponsored by Granny Soul Food. It is the home of the radio special, and Raise the Praise Christian newspaper is also one of our sponsors. Granny's Kitchen is located at 5440 South Central Avenue in the city of Los Angeles, and it's right on the corner of 54th and Central Avenue. Again, it is the home of the radio special. You can get a two-piece and a side for $4.99. Their number is 323-231-2141. Again, that's Granny's Kitchen.
Go beyond the walls to get you a piece of chicken.
I went over there this evening and had dinner with Brother Eric.
Yep.
And enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much.
I ate mine right there.
You got the radio special, Pastor?
No, I went for the whole hog.
He went for the whole horse.
The radio special wasn't good enough. You had to go and mount up and get a whole plate.
Put my whole $10.
Go to Granny's Kitchen.
Thank you, Granny's Kitchen.
Okay, we right here.
So we also have other news too.
All right. National Action Network, Los Angeles, and Project Islamic Hope, SCLC, and other groups will lead a mass demonstration in response to the destruction of the young man in Baltimore, Mr. Freddie Gray. We'll meet tomorrow at Mert Park on Crenshaw and Vernon at 6 o'clock p.m. And our very, very special guest is Mike Brown Sr., all the way from
Ferguson.
Missouri.
He's the father of Michael Brown Jr.
He's currently in town right now, and he's meeting with some different portions of Hollywood in hopes to put together a movie project. So he's meeting even right now.
Okay, and for tomorrow, for the rally, can everyone let peaceful protesters, know what to wear, what to expect?
Yeah, just we're asking folks to come out, come as you are. We're asking all of our NAN members, wear your NAN T-shirt if you have a T-shirt. If you need a T-shirt, go to our office and pick one up, 2828 West Jefferson Boulevard. We also ask that they just come in the spirit of peace, come in the spirit of Mike Brown, come in the spirit of Freddie Gray. We want to make sure the world know that we're outraged of this Freddie Gray scenario, and we ask that you come on out and be a part. I mean, we're known for leading these demonstrations, and we're so thankful that we're able to do one tomorrow and have with us Mr. Mike Brown Sr.
Yes, and I know that I've been inviting numerous of organizations, young people, again, get involved. This is your time. This is your chance. You're frustrated. We understand. So let's go about it a positive way and show how we can all come together united for this rally.
Remember, it's not just that it was Freddie Gray. Right here in Los Angeles, we have Ezell Ford,
Omar Abrego.
and the list goes on. I can go all the way back to when I hit town in '68. They were still talking about Deadweiler, and we still ain't got it straight.
Yeah.
So let's come out tomorrow.
What else community news we got going?
You're going to hear more about this this very special event in our next segment with our very, very special guest. But we also want to invite our listeners to come out to our weekly chapter meeting every Monday, and we promise to have you home by 8 o'clock. Reverend Tulos also wants to send a special invitation to his church, the historical Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church, located at 129 South Gless Street in the city of Los Angeles. Reverend Tulos is the pastor and has a special word from the Lord just for you. Service starts at 9 o'clock a.m. sharp. Or you can go and hang out with Pastor Nathaniel Martin and New Life Institutional Church on Figueroa in the city of Los Angeles. And his address is 8401 South Figueroa. Again, and that's in the city of Los Angeles. So find a church to praise God, and after church, go to Granny Soul Food and ask for the radio special.
That's right, and we want to also let our listening audience know that the Concord Church will be hosting their annual revival May 12th, 13th, and 14th. Their special guest evangelist is Reverend Ray Weaver Jr. So Concord Church, as you know, is the church that we host our weekly NAN meetings at. Every week, Pastor Bill Hemphill go on out and support on May 12th, 13th, and 14th. What's happening at Grace is the Place?
All right, Grace is the Place. Beginning on tomorrow night, the Grace Temple Music and Workshop Arts Ministry Symposium 2015, April the 30th through May the 3rd. Saturday, May 2nd at 10 o'clock will be a prayer breakfast. We have special guests Nikki Pox and also Keisha Ely, who were singers for the Kurt Carr Singers. Come out and be a part of this great, great music symposium.
And remember that, our Community 411 is brought to us by Granny's Soul Food Kitchen. But that's Soul Food, Granny's Soul Food. Let me get that right. Granny's Soul Food, 54th and Central. Listen, Los Angeles, we have a very special guest with us. He is not really a guest because he is part of our National Action Network family. He holds the title of our political director of the National Action Network. But just let me give you a little brief, story about this activist. It was about 12 years ago, you all, that this young preacher was looking for an opportunity to be a part, to be engaged. And this activist here took me up under his wings. He promised me, he said, man, if you stand, if you hang with me, I promise you, I'll show you all the ropes. And he has shown me the ropes these last 12 years. And I'm so happy that on this night that he's coming in as our special guest, and he is the world-renowned community civil rights activist, the author of Raising Hell, the author of so many op-ed pieces, and that's our brother, brother Najee Ali. I was about to say Reverend Najee, but Najee, come on, welcome Beyond the Walls.
Thank you, Reverend Tullis and the National Action Network for having me on tonight. We're all family, but I'm just grateful, so grateful to be a part of the National Action Network family. So it's always a blessing to see my family and fellow activists.
Najee, man, we're so happy to have you with us tonight. Again, you're one of our big voices around the city, and we're just thankful for all the work that you do. We thank you so much for pouring so much into our organization and pouring so much into me as the leader. And we just want to say that we're so happy to have you tonight, man. Why don't you talk about what's happening tomorrow night in Leimert Park?
Well, tomorrow night is a night that I'm hopeful the whole community will come out and support, and that will be a vigil, rally, and march in memory of Freddie Gray, the young Baltimore man who died at the hands of the Baltimore police. And we think it's very important also that we acknowledge all the victims of police violence and who have died at the hands of the police nationwide. So our special guest tomorrow night will be Michael Brown Sr., the father of Michael Brown Jr., who was murdered in Ferguson, Missouri last year. So I'm hopeful the community will come out because it's very important that we take a stand against police brutality nationwide.
Yeah, and Michael Brown Sr. has been a father who's been wounded by, their child being taken away from him. And we're so happy that he's coming out tomorrow, that he's going to come, and this is going to really be his first official appearance in Los Angeles. He's going to be with us at Leimert Park. He wants to be with the people, and we're going to give him the people. And also, we're standing up for Freddie Gray. We want the world to know that that's the real issue, not the rioting, not the voices of the unheard, but Freddie Gray. There's a young man that lost his life.
Absolutely. Based on yesterday, it was good to see you and Reverend Martin there at 77th. What was your real feeling about that meeting, engaging with the LAPD, even though Chief Beck wasn't there?
Well, I think it's very important that we have a relationship with law enforcement and have an open dialogue. But at the end of the day, I tell people I'm an activist. It's not my job to be friends with the police.
Right.
It's just
Absolutely.
not.
Right.
They need to be held accountable. In our community, it's my job to have a relationship with them to make sure that they protect and serve our community as they should. At the end of the day, there's still questions that need to be answered by Chief Beck.
Absolutely.
And that's number one for me is why Ezel Ford, the young South LA man who was shot and killed by police last year, unarmed, why was he stopped in the first place?
Right.
We're seeing an epidemic of black men and women dying at the hands of police nationwide.
I mean, not only Ezel. I mean, look at what took place on Skid Row with Africa. I mean, that's what we do. As National Action Network, we're gonna hold them accountable.
Right.
And we want to ask the question. We're gonna ask the hard question. Don't think when we sitting down here with these police, we're just having a kumbaya moment.
Thank you. Make it
That's
clear.
not what's happening. We're there, literally asking the questions that need to be asked.
And I think that's important, Reverend Tullis, that you mentioned that we are there meeting with the police, and I have no problem meeting with the police. But as you said, it's about holding them accountable, getting information. That way we can give back to the community on what happened, what we're doing to help solve the problem. Because as you mentioned, Brother Africa, he was the African homeless man who was killed by police on Skid Row. He has no voice. No one's going to speak for him. So as an organization, as activists, it's our job to be his voice because he can't speak for himself.
And that tended to be what was happening yesterday. That was the shadow hanging over the entire so-called meeting that we attended yesterday. It was nothing was acknowledged that was going on right here in Los Angeles by the police department.
And at the end, again, our responsibility is to hold them accountable. They want to hold us accountable. That's why they accountable of our laws. We want to make sure they're doing the right job. It's our dollars that's paid their salaries. And at the end, we can celebrate the leadership of the new deputy chief, William Scott. But, at the end, we want to make sure we ask those questions. Why is our children being killed? Why is this epidemic happening all across this country? And, by us being there, those are the questions we ask. We're not against having no kumbaya moment.
Right. And I think that is a problem that is plaguing the country, as you said, Brother Najee, listening to the voices of so many people. One of the main issues is why have there been no convictions on any level in any state across the country on any of these renegade or rogue police officers?
Well, that's a great observation and analysis. At the end of the day, I just feel that we have to do a better job in making sure the officers are, first of all, even brought to prosecution, but more importantly, we have to have juries who aren't swayed by the police officers themselves and the status they hold in the community and hold them accountable when they break the law. The best example I can give briefly is Eric Garner, the man who was stopped by police in New York, videotaped being choked to death by police officers. Those officers did stand a prosecution by a grand jury, but the grand jury said they were innocent. Yet there's a videotape of them choking this black man to death on videotape. The whole world is seeing. So that continues to be a problem now, just as it was 23 years ago when Rodney King was beat by the LAPD on videotape. The whole world saw it, yet those 4 white officers were all found not guilty.
Right.
And that was one of the things that led to the uprising, which were 23 years ago today, that took place in our city, and we see that happening across the country. Najee, I want you to talk to me a little bit about Baltimore and the uprising that occurred Monday night. What's your views on that?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm someone who believes in nonviolence. Our organization is one, in addition to Dr. King, as far as being a peaceful organization. But for me, I do understand the frustration, the pain, the anger those young people are feeling. Unfortunately, they need direction and guidance. But to me, they're not thugs. Those are our children.
Right.
They're angry, and at the end of the day, when they see that Trayvon Martin, someone of their generation, is shot down, murdered, the killer goes free, when they see Ezell Ford and others who have been shot and killed, Michael Brown, they just feel like, hey, that could be me. And my life has no meaning. So they're just frustrated, and what they're doing is really acting out.
And, I say that's one of the reasons why I'm so thankful that Simone is leading our youth move, giving young activists the opportunity, teaching them the art of protesting and teaching them the art of nonviolent demonstrations and the importance of those things, right?
Yes, and definitely. Speaking out in a positive manner. Public speaking skills is what I am trying to push for these young activists, how to effectively voice their concerns in a way that people will listen and not just use their muscles or their guns or their torches. Like, there's so many other ways out there. And so I'm actively trying to seek new members. And actually this summer, I may even spread across states and reach new youth move chapters, because it's all of us. All youth have to just be involved. There's no point of staying on the sidelines, as you can see.
And we are inviting all the young people to come out tomorrow with us, because
Definitely.
I believe Michael Brown Sr. has a strong message for parents and a strong message for our children.
Definitely.
Come on out tomorrow, 7 p.m. at Leimert Park.
And if you see any
6
of
p.m. I'm sorry,
6 p.m. And
Leimert
if you
Park.
see any of the NAN members and even me, I will be out there. Come, talk to me. Tell me that you want to be involved. I'll have flyers. I'll have things for you to sign up because the time is now.
Brother Ali, why should people come down to the park tomorrow night?
Well, I think it's very important that we understand that what happened to Freddie Gray, his dying at the hands of the police, has also happened to Ezel Ford here locally in South LA. And we just know for a fact, just based on the amount of black men and women who have died at the hands of the police unarmed, that shows us it can happen to any one of us. So no one should feel like they're safe. At the end of the day, we have to come together as a community and make a stand and say no more stolen lives, and that black lives do matter.
That's right.
Absolutely. Najee, just want to ask you something. You know, we have to continue this fight until police brutality is eradicated. But I think it's disheartening for, so many of us, most of us, when we have elected officials, black elected officials, in office, yet nothing seems to change. Having black cops, black mayors, black police commissioners, like in Baltimore, and the same thing continues. So, what are your thoughts about what we need to do in that?
I mean, you're correct. I mean, we have a black president of the United States, Barack Obama. The mayor is black in Baltimore, the police chief, several city council members. At the end of the day, what needs to be changed is not the color of the elected officials in office. What needs to be changed is the culture of the police that allows them to feel comfortable enough to end up killing black men and women and feel that they can get away with it and not be brought to justice. So that culture has to be changed, where we need more community policing, better training, and better hiring of police officers. Hire officers from that community. That way an officer will know who someone is because they grew up on the same block, went to the same school, or they shop at the same store.
Let me say this, and also not only that, we got to change some of these laws that's protecting officers that's not doing their job. And that's why we're moving from demonstration to legislations. And it's important that our people recognize that currently in California, Sacramento has heard our cry. And there's 5 bills currently in Sacramento today that you can get on the petition on National Action Network Los Angeles Facebook page. You can sign the petition and let them know that these are laws that will make a difference. We are not anti-police. We're anti-police brutality. And these laws are designed to to hold them accountable.
Assembly Bill 86, written by Kevin McCarty. This bill would require an independent investigation of peace officer involved shootings and other uses of force resulting in death.
This is everything we've asked for. This is it. This is our opportunity. And I want our listeners to know there's never going to be a time like this again.
Right.
I mean, we've seen shooting after shooting from state to state, from Los Angeles to Baltimore to New York. This is happening. And so our lawmakers, our legislation has stepped, McCarty stepped up. That's something never heard. I mean, only state that has a law similar to that is Wisconsin. And we're still waiting to see the outcome of that shooting case in Wisconsin. And so, Najee, I want to commend you for all the work you're doing, and I want to commend you for always bringing us together as a people and letting the world know that we're not sitting back and just saying that this is okay. It's not okay, right?
That's right, brother. And I'm just grateful, as I stated once again, to be a member of NAN. Grateful for Reverend Sharpton, our founder and national leader, for being, someone who's mentored me. And I'm just grateful to be part of this family. But more importantly, I'm just grateful to you, Reverend Tulis, because at the end of the day, you may say I'm your big brother, but you're like my little brother, and you're the best little brother that anyone could have and are asked for.
That's a blessing, man. That's a
Najee,
blessing.
I don't think you really understand the impact that you have had on many of our lives. When I started my expungement service, you were one of the first people that I talked to. and invited you to be a part of my organization on the advisory committee. And ever since then, you started inviting me to the NAN meetings and things like that, and I've been here ever since. So it is really because of you that I'm here today. So I appreciate all the contributions that you make.
No, well, I
You're a
appreciate you,
blessing
Nita,
to
because
us.
you've been one of our most faithful members. And because you're so fine, I was like, no, we got to get her to be a part of our organization.
That's my brother, Najee, y'all. Now, listen, we can, there's other things, Najee, we've been at the forefront of many of the issues, throughout the years, talk about, just talk about what drives you, man. What is it that drives you?
Well, I think at the end of the day, seeing national figures such as Reverend Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, and what they've accomplished as far as being at the forefront as national leaders, I just wanted to give back locally in my community and try to help solve issues that I think are very important for our social justice. So I've just been blessed to be able to work on behalf of the community because at the end of the day, it's like Malcolm X said, someone who I love and admire, our community won't get better until you and I make it better.
And, I know every time the media or folks, do something wrong and they look up on TV, I know they said, dang, here come that man again. Because you're at the forefront.
Yeah, that's right. And I want to commend you because so many people like to criticize and they stand on the sideline doing nothing. And it's easy to criticize doing nothing, but you have never backed down. You've always been engaged, even in situations that we were not even aware of. They called you that situation with Ezell Ford. We came on the block. Who was right there front and center? And who were the parents embracing? And I think that's commendable. And I would like to pray that you would continue in the fight, brother, and whatever we can do, whatever I can do, I'm right there with you shoulder to shoulder and hip to hip.
I mean, a lot of folks don't recognize that. I mean, we're not, folks say, well, here go these activists. We're not ambulance chasers.
No,
we're
sir.
the ambulance. We come before the ambulance.
That's right.
In most cases, I remember the Ezell Ford case. The reason we was on the scene first is because they called us.
Right.
Right? And because the reason Najee Ali was the first activist to sit down in their home and they embraced, they called us.
Yeah, we
Yes.
wind up
And
being
that's-
ambulance.
Right, and I actually have a question for you guys as longstanding, committed activists in the community and someone who is young, not that young, but someone who is young. How do you guys keep the longevity of the fight, keep the fire and the passion without giving up and saying, what's the use?
I think when you look at the tradition and history and the legacy of our ancestors, they were in slavery, brought here. And when slavery 400 years, they never gave up the fight.
Right.
They always kept fighting. So that's a tradition that we come from. So for me, I'm just grateful because I always tell people at the end of the day, I'm part of an organization and I respect our other organization that does civil rights. We're not in competition with them. But the facts are the National Action Network, we're the vanguard civil rights group. We've been at the forefront of anything that's happened major in civil rights for the last decade. So
You
once
better
we
Google
realize that's
something.
our role in the community counts on us. So for tomorrow night's rally and demonstration, that's what they expect. The National Action Network, that's our job, is to continue to bring the community together. And if anything happens, we have to be out there first to help our people.
Right, and speak to the issues. And I want to commend you likewise, Brother Ali, for the many years of leadership that you've given here, not only in Los Angeles and Inglewood, but like I say, across the country. I've seen you on TV way up in New York. And we thank God that you're able to put up that fight, man. I don't know how you afford the fare, but thank God you get out there.
That's right. Well, they say the Lord will make a way somehow, right?
Somehow, some way.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end, we want our listeners to know we want to meet you. We want you to meet us tomorrow night at the park, Leimert Park, Vernon and Crenshaw, 6
Yes.
p.m. We ask that you come out, be engaged. Come on out. Be ready to be driven to action.
Bring your children.
Bring your children. It's going to be, it's for everybody. We want, if you have a desire to go beyond the walls, this is your opportunity to do it. Meet us at Leimert Park. Why Leimert Park, Najee?
Well, Leimert
I always
Park-
want to ask you that.
Leimert Park is the heart and soul of Black LA. It's known all over the world. It's a cultural and arts, but also a place of resistance. And that's our battleground. For us, we're like Batman, so that's the Bat Cave for us.
We got you. We got you.
And
So
we
come on.
also want you to sign the petition. Is that right?
That's right. We're going to have a petition that's going to be circulating tomorrow. From demonstration to legislation.
Someone will be there with the petition.
This is
Definitely.
your opportunity to sign on to the dotted line. I'm in support of these, and so we're thankful for those: Rashida, Simone, Nita, Janet, all those members. And then I get in trouble because
Big Mike, Pastor Mike.
Big Mike in the house. We're thankful for him. He's not in the house, but he's out and about.
Big
And
Mike.
we want folks to really come on out tomorrow, 6 p.m. Leimert Park, Vernon, and Avalon. This is your opportunity to go beyond the walls. This is your opportunity to come and be a part. 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Vernon and Crenshaw.
And I like the
And
way
Crenshaw.
that you said, Reverend Tool, is meet me at Leimert. That could be like the hashtag for the
Hashtag
social
it,
media movement
youngster.
that needs to happen.
Hashtag
We need
it.
to start reaching out on Twitter, on Instagram. Meet me at Leimert tomorrow at 6 p.m.
And our special guest is Michael Brown Sr. So he's looking forward to meeting you, and we're asking that you all be engaged and come on and be a part. Listen, as we switch, let's talk about just some of the laws that we're trying to push in Sacramento. I see y'all got it up there. Just give me the names and the numbers.
Yes. So, as Miss Nita stated beforehand, AB 86, SB 227, which is Senator Mitchell. This bill prohibits the confidentiality of grand juries. AB 71, Assemblymember Freddie Rodriguez. This bill would create a statewide database of statistics on all officer-involved shootings that result in the injury or death. AB 11, Senators Bill and Mitchell. This bill will require increased training of law enforcement officers. AB 953, Assemblymember Shirley Weber. This bill will prohibit law enforcement officers from engaging in the practice of racial profiling.
So those are all bills that you can go on to this petition at our Facebook page and sign on to. We ask that you do that today, tonight. Get on your social media, sign on to these bills, up to the petition in support of these bills. Listen, we want the world to know that our radio show is sponsored by Raise the Praise newspaper and Granny's Soul Food, Granny's Kitchen, located at 5440 South Central Avenue. Brother Eric is the owner, so we ask that you get on out. But as we close and as we prepare to close, I am a preacher. As we prepare to close, is there any parting remarks tonight, Brother Najee, first?
Just grateful, as I stated once again, to be a part of the National Action Network, LA's most prominent and productive civil rights group in South LA.
That means a lot.
That means a whole lot.
Nita?
Oh, I'm just actually just very happy to be here with Najee. So excited to see him here on the air and all these wonderful activists. It's been a pleasure working with them. I'm so excited about the things that we are doing. NAN LA is really, really, really busy. We are working on getting legislation passed. We are protesting, and we are doing things that matter in our community. Come join us.
Youngster?
Yes, so right before Miss Simone signs off, not the
Yes.
youngster, I am the youngster, but right before Miss Simone signs off, I'd like to give a shout out to my beautiful family in Kansas City, Missouri, my Nan fam, Bam,
That's right.
and Miss Aunt Gladys, who I adore. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, and thanks to Brother Robert Bush, I hit up a lot of my Facebook partners, invited them to become members of NAN. I want to thank those that have hit me back.
That's right. Reverend J?
I want to also thank all those that I invited to like our Facebook page, and close to 50 of you have. The rest of I'm about 150 short, so y'all come on and get on board with us. And don't forget tomorrow night starting the music symposium at Grace Temple, located at 7017 South Gramercy.
Yeah, we're thankful. We're asking everybody again to come on out tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Leimert Park, Crenshaw and Vernon, 6 p.m. Don't be late. We ask that you come out. Last week, y'all, I got in trouble. I said I got in trouble.
What?
Last week I got in trouble because I
Any
signed
shout
out. I
out?
did not give a shout out to my 3 beautiful children, Kaylin,
That's trouble.
Caleb,
All right.
and Kaylin. I want also Caden, and I also want to give a shout out to my dog, Kennedy. So I won't
get
be in
home,
trouble.
you get in
So
the house
everybody can
tonight.
give me some love when I make it to the house. But listen, you all. Come on out tomorrow.
Yes.
We ask that you go beyond the walls. If you can't make it tomorrow, come to our office, 2828 West Jefferson, on Monday night, 6 p.m. We will be having our chapter meeting. You're welcome to come. Again, we're thankful for each and every one of you. Thankful for Najee Ali. Join us next Wednesday live, same time, same station, KTYM. We thank our engineer, Brother Ruben. We thank all of our listeners. And whatever you do, wherever you go, we ask you to tell somebody to get involved, get engaged. Come to National Action Network, where you'll find yourself going beyond the walls. Remember, family, we don't shake people down.
We shake them up. Keep the faith.
Next week.